Elvis and Me and The Lemonade Stand Summer. This book is by Leslie Gentile, and it is one of the Silver Birch Fiction Award nominees for this year. And I'm going to read the back description quickly because it's excellent, and then just a little bit of the first chapter. So when I read the back cover, it got my interest peaked immediately, and I hope it'll do the same for you. This isn't the summer Truly was expecting to have. She wasn't expecting to run a lemonade stand, but Andy L. talked her into it. She wasn't expecting to find out who her real father is, and she wasn't expecting to come up with a secret plan to go visit him. But the thing she really wasn't expecting was that Elvis Presley would come to live at the Eagle Shores trailer park, the king of rock and roll, who everyone thought died a year ago. Living on an indigenous reserve in the West Coast, this summer is really shaking things up. So here is the first part of the first chapter. It's called Chapter 1. The summer Elvis came into my life, he drove right up to my lemonade stand in a Volkswagen, a gold-colored Sun Bug Super Beetle, and nothing was ever the same after that. Okay, so it might not have been the real Elvis. After all, it had been widely reported that he had been dead for almost a year. But then, you never really know for sure, right? A lot of magazines and newspapers at the Food Mart checkout claimed that he was still alive. And every once in a while, he was photographed hanging out in places like laundromats. So it was entirely possible that he had pulled up to my lemonade stand in a gold sunbug. And this guy looked like Elvis, sounded like him, and acted like him, or how I imagined Elvis would act if he got to live like a normal person and showed up for a glass of lemonade at a stand in front of a rundown trailer park on an Indian reserve. So here's how the summer started. Andy L. insisted that I set up a lemonade stand on the side of the road in front of our trailer park. She hauled out an old piece of plywood and set it up on some rickety old sawhorses that she'd found laying out in a junk pile behind the shed behind her trailer. It looked pretty bad, even to Andy L., who was always so darn positive about everything, so she covered it with an old tablecloth she didn't mind me using outdoors. Which is how I ended up with a Christmas tablecloth with dancing snowmen on it to cover my lemonade stand. Years before, someone had embroidered, "Have a cool Yule, y'all," in green thread along the frayed edges. And while it was festive, it did not exactly scream, "Lemonade stand!" Andy L. had even invested in 6 cans of lemonade to get me started. Let me borrow her blue plastic jug and some mismatched plastic glasses, and provided ice cubes from a metal tray in the old fridge she kept out on her back porch. So I really didn't have much choice in the end. I tried to tell her that at 11 years old, I was way too old for running a lemonade stand, but she just smiled, ignored my complaints, and kept setting it up. Her name is really Ella Charlie, and she owns the trailer park. When I was little, just learning to walk around the uneven ground of the trailer park, I heard all of her relatives calling her Auntie Ella, and I thought they were saying Andy L. Somehow the name caught on, and now everyone in her family also calls her that. Even her grown nephew Raymond and her daughter Esther, although sometimes they also call her Mama. Andy L. is Coast Salish. Clarice, my mom, is white. But I know that my dad is an Indian. Clarice has never bothered to tell me anything about him, so this is just guesswork on my part. As a natural blonde, Clarice sunburns easily and has fine, delicate features, as she likes to say. I have darker skin and hair, and I'm short and a bit stocky, so I figure I must take after my dad. And the only thing I know about him is that he must be native. So that is the beginning of Elvis and Me and the Lemonade Stand Summer. And you'll notice that this book is set in the past. So it's set the year after Elvis died. So if you want to read this book, you might do a little bit of investigation to figure out where that setting is. And you know that one of the characters is Salish. So you might do a little bit of investigating to figure out what that is too. And I'm definitely going to read this one next, and I hope you give it a chance, and the 9 others that have been nominated for this year.